Inspirational Talks. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited to be here connecting with you on my floor, on my yoga mat, in my workout clothes. And you know, it's so funny because the last year and a half, at least year and a half, maybe even longer, I have been plotting and planning a podcast. And I've been wanting to release something. I got the gadgets, I got the tools, I've written the scripts, I've rehearsed, I've practiced, I've filmed episodes just like this, and I've deleted them. And I've started from scratch, and I've over and over and over and over and over again. And I thought, today, where am I gonna sit? Where am I gonna sit for this podcast? I can't do it. I don't have anywhere nice to sit. I don't have anywhere aesthetic to stick. I'm constantly traveling and I'm moving and I'm all over the place. And I'm like, you know what? If my excuse today is I can't film this podcast, I can't record this podcast because I don't know where I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna sit in my favorite spot, which is the floor. I'm always on the floor. And if that sounds weird to you, it's because I'm stretching. And if you don't do it, maybe you should give it a try because seriously, the floor is grounding. It's called the ground for a reason. I'm in my favorite clothes, which are workout clothes. They're comfortable. It's me to a T. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to make this happen. And you know why? Because I choose to make this happen. I want so badly to share this message with you all, to be able to have a platform to connect with you all. I think it's a beautiful thing. The technology that we're giving, if we use it for our good, for the good of others, we can truly make deep, meaningful relationships, and that's what we're here to do. The intention of this podcast is to spread positivity, to spread love and joy and peace, connect us and find ways that are fun to move our bodies, give thanks to our bodies, really focus on gratitude. That's what I want to do in this podcast, as well as connect to each other, explore, share stories, connect, make life fun. Life is supposed to be fun. I know there's lots of parts when it comes to being an adult that we have to be serious, we have to make decisions, we have to do things that are for the good of others, for the good of our own healths. However, life should be fun, and I want to deliver that to you here with this podcast. And so, connection, gratitude, movement, intention. My intention is that we do this journey together, and I'm so excited to have you here. Most of my episodes are going to start with a couple of different things. One, music, because music moves me like no other. That is why I teach dance classes. That's why I teach any movement classes, because the music, to be completely honest with you, that fires up my soul, fires up my system. I love music. If you have music that you want to share with me, I would love to hear it. I have a couple of really awesome friends that are DJs, that are music producers, that share their content with me, and so I'm super excited to get to share their content there with you, and I love the positivity that we can spread through the sharing of music, through the sharing of messages. The second thing that we're going to do is we're going to do something focusing on gratitude, because I think when we take a second to give gratitude to others and give gratitude to ourselves, then our cup is going to be full, and when we overflow, when we give to others, we're never going to be coming from a state of lack. It's going to be abundance through and through and through. And so I want you to take a second, think of 3 things, 3 people, 3 situations that you truly feel appreciative and gratitude for, and just say them out loud. Say them out loud. Think of them. I'll go first, you go second. Next time we're switching, you go first, I go second. But say them out loud, because there's a power that comes with speaking words out loud. So for me today, I'm focusing on my health. I get to move. I get to be able to work on my health, to show my body that I love it, by moving it, by training it, by doing exercises, by feeding it food that aligns with the person that I want to be, aka fruits, vegetables, proteins. I eat carbohydrates and I love them. Number 2, my family, my support system, my friends. I don't know where I would be in this world without them. The vulnerable, deep, meaningful connections that I have with people have made me the person that I am and have opened up my heart immensely, especially within the last year. And the third thing that I'm thankful for is that I have access to technology like this to be able to connect with you here and to be able to start my own podcast, have my own channel, have my own way to put out a message, to share stories, to share connection. What I want to do is inspire. I want to move you in whatever way, form that is for you, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I'm here for all of it, and I'm so happy to have you here with me. Okay, it's your turn. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Think, reflect, what do you feel grateful for? And then I want you to say them out loud. There is a power that comes with speaking things that you truly feel gratitude for, that you feel love for, out loud. Once you have those 3 things, write them down, Repeat them to yourself throughout the day and really hold them into your heart. Hold them in your heart because we can always find three things, three people, three reasons as to why we are grateful. And when we have that gratitude outward and inward, we have full cups. And there's nothing more fulfilling than having a full cup and being able to spread that with others. And so, jumping into today's podcast, what we're going to do today in this episode is a little bit different than the other ones because I want to introduce myself. I want to get to know you. I want you to know me. And I want to have I want to interchange here. This is a communication. This is conversation. I'm super excited to be able to connect with you here. So that means I want to hear from you. This isn't just me talking to me. I'm going to have people on this podcast for sure. I already have a list and I'm super excited to get them on here, have some good chats. I'm going to be doing it in Spanish too. So if your native language is Spanish or if you're learning Spanish, tune in. We're going to be doing this in Español también, because I'm living currently in Spain. I'm bouncing all over the place. One day, eventually, we're going to be doing it in Italian too, because I used to live in Italy. But before we get started on my journey and everything like that, what I want to do is encourage you to message me if you have something that you want to talk about, if there's a conversation or a topic that you think would be beneficial, let me know. Screenshot this episode, tag me in it, share it with someone that you think it might resonate with, and that would be the world to me. It would mean the absolute world to me, because the only way that I'm going to make this a successful podcast is if it's connection that we make together. Because me talking to me is one thing, and it's awesome because I'm getting things out there into the universe, and we're all energy, and that energy is affected by the words that I'm speaking and what I choose to believe. Mindset is huge. We're going to talk a lot about mindset. But at the same time, there's nothing to me, in my opinion, there's nothing more meaningful in this world than relationships and human connection. Like, we are humans. Isolation is one thing. Like, you can take time to be by yourself. Isolation is not going to get us anywhere, because as humans, we need to connect and we need to share love and we need to feel emotions and feelings. We're going to get into that too. It's a whole thing. But before I get on a rant, which I do, and sometimes I will, I'm going to take the moment to introduce myself. So my name is Lacey, and I am from the States. I'm from Pennsylvania, a really small town out in rural Pennsylvania above Scranton. If you think I don't know where the heck that is, maybe you are familiar with the show The Office. And The Office was actually filmed in Scranton. So, like, that's my reference point. And for anyone from Europe and anywhere that's not from the United States and you're thinking, I don't even know where Pennsylvania is, no worries. I usually refer to where I'm from as New York. It's not New York, not to be confused with New York State, New York City. I'm about an hour from the border of New York, 2.5 hours from the city. So, like, we're out there, East Coast. I'm not on the sea. That's a bummer. It is what it is. But from a super rural, middle of nowhere area that is green and luscious and full of rolling hills and mountains, and it's just stunning. The winters are harsh, the summers are gorgeous, the autumn is breathtaking. The colors of the trees are absolutely fascinating. There's every color you can imagine. But I'm really grateful where I'm from. As I was younger, I had an amazing childhood. I had a great family. I have a great family. And I'm so grateful for all of them and their impacts on me. And my school that I went to, my graduating class, this might be insane for some of you. My graduating class had like maybe 89 people in it, and we were one of the biggest ones. The grade in front of us had, I think, 32, 35. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the numbers were. It's crazy because elementary, middle school, and high school were all connected together. So, like, that was some small town stuff. And you know what? I'm so grateful for it because it really impacted the person that I am today. And every time I go home, I feel more and more connected to the place, to the people. I have so much gratitude and love for where I'm from. And then I'm a citizen of the world because I've just been popping all over the place, bouncing around, hopping the pond, and we'll get into that later. But a couple of things that have really played a major role in my life were when I was in high school, something that completely changed my life, because when I was younger, I was overweight, I was picked on a lot, bullied. My favorite thing to do in the entire world is dance, which is why I'm a dance instructor, and I teach Zumba, and I do afro. I got the crazy legs going on at all times. If there's music on, I'm on the dance floor. Don't even try to talk to me unless you're dancing and we're talking at the same time, because I can multitask, but I will be on the dance floor dancing. That is my favorite place to be, on the floor. And when I say floor, that encompasses all floors. Dance floor, this floor, any floor. And So I realized just actually a couple of weeks ago, I'm doing a training that I quit dance when I was younger, not because I didn't want to dance anymore. I quit dance because I was bullied so badly that I thought if I stopped, then I would not have to listen or endure people's words anymore. And I only felt their words as powerfully as I did because I gave them that kind of power. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that is crazy. I gave up dance for a good 5, 6 years of my life because of being bullied. And then I started again, and I seem to have found myself again taking on this role of a dance instructor and taking part in plays and not really musicals, but a burlesque show, for example, that's coming up here in Alicante, and dancing and moving my body and thinking, I'm grateful that I get to move my body. And it's just a really crazy realization that I've had, and something that's really, really engraved deep inside of me is that freedom of expression in dance. And if you like to dance, if you like music, one or the other, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you can probably relate in some way or another. Whether you love art, you love drawing, you love to be active, you love playing the guitar, you love, you name it. You get this feeling of, I'm in my flow state. I'm just not even, nothing else can even affect my concentration right now because I'm in my flow. Like, this thing is just going through me, inside of me, outside of me, going straight through me, and I'm able to like transmit this energy and this like onda, we would say, all the way around me. And I think that's really interesting because I danced for so many years growing up, and then because of the bullying, I stopped. And when I stopped, I seem to have closed myself in this little box thinking, if they can't see me, then they can't make fun of me. They can't pick on me, and they can't hurt me. And that was just not the case at all. So I started pushing myself outside of that box, those four walls that I had surrounded myself with by my choosing. And that's when I started to kind of see, like, you know what? I'm allowed to be whoever I want to be, and I don't have to listen to what other people say. And these realizations here 10 years later are really coming through hardcore right now. But something that really affected my perspective in high school, I'm going to give a shout out to EF Tours, is traveling abroad during my senior year of high school and getting to see parts of Europe. We went to France, we went to Italy. That had such an impact on my life. I don't know if anyone else, your first time traveling, seeing something completely different, new language, new culture, new temperature. I mean, like, everything is new, and you're just in this place where you're like, where the hell am I? It's absolutely astonishing. It like flips your world upside down, and you think, holy moly, this world is gigantic. I have got to see it. That is exactly what I thought to myself. I said, damn, I gotta learn languages, I gotta learn culture, I wanna meet people. You're gonna find me traveling all over the place. Like, I won't stop until I've seen it all. And then I went to college, and I was so excited to be able to have the opportunity to go to college because we didn't grow up with a lot of money. I was kind of trying to stay in Pennsylvania because it's so much cheaper. If you're from the States, you know what I'm talking about. It's so much cheaper to stay in your state and go to school versus travel and go outside and go to school in another state. So, I love my family, I love my mom. I had a couple hour limit, 1, 2 hours, 10 minutes would have been preferred. And I ended up going 3 hours away, which was not ideal. And it was in New York State, and I thought, how am I going to make this work? Like, I can't rely on my family. I can't put that pressure on my family to send me to college. And I remember I got a scholarship, and I wrote to the school. I was so infatuated with the program there that I went for at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. I thought, I gotta get into this school, but like, how can I make this work financially? So I wrote a letter. This was like my 17-year-old self wrote a letter and asked for help, and like told them what I saw for myself at their school was and how I could be of service to them. And I got a grant, and I got help, and I got extra funding to be able to go to the school of my dreams that I never expected ever in my entire life, to be able to go to a school, and not to be able to go to a school, period, but to be able to go to a school that was outside of my state. And I studied hospitality, I studied tourism, I studied event planning, and that experience changed my life. I mean, traveling was the first thing that really hit me hard. The second thing was college, because I realized, oh my God, I can reinvent myself and I can be anyone I want because I'm grown up now. I left my parents' house when I was 17 years old, and when I was moving in orientation, I had my birthday, my 18th birthday, when I started school at RIT in Rochester, New York, and I thought, nobody knows me here. They don't know that I have a history of bullying. They don't know that I have a bad history, a bad relationship with food, with my self-image. But you know what? this is my time to shine and to make this my own experience. Like, I'm gonna do all the things. And all the things I did. Let me tell you what, I was a freaking professional multitasker. I was the president of the International Student Association on my campus, Global Union. Shout out, that was one of my favorite roles, seriously. I was in a sorority. I was the party planner for the sorority at one point. I was the cheerleader for the sorority. I would do all the chants and cheers. Energetic, I am. Active, I am. And oh my gosh, I did so many things. I played intramural volleyball. I was part of an honor society. I fundraised. I would go to Pennsylvania, 3 hours away, pick up Krispy Kreme donuts, drive all the way back 3 hours again, sell those Krispy Kreme donuts, and fundraise money for us to be able to go to New York City every year as a department and see different hotels and go to the food shows and meet famous people who worked in the hotel industry, see their places, know their career, how they got to where they were. It was incredible. Those hours in the car, I'll never take them back as long as I live. It was crazy. But I did so many things at RIT, I don't think I ever took a second to stop and smell the roses. And sometimes I regret that. Sometimes I wish that I had stopped a little bit more, but I'm all about living authentically, and that was part of my journey at that moment where I was so excited to kind of step out of that box that I mentioned earlier and be like, you know what? I'm gonna let the light in and I'm gonna let my light out because I have so much to give. And so I just went berserk and I did everything. And I met so many incredible humans on the way, so many incredible people that some of them are still in my life. Like, we talk every single day today. And so if you have met people in college, in school, in programs, at work that have truly like impacted your life, and you still talk to them today and you're like, damn, what would my life be like without them? You know what I'm talking about, because having even one person in your life that is so impactful, that is so genuine, that you can say anything to and they won't get offensive, they won't take it personally, like you can just be your authentic self with, that is so meaningful. That is so important. And I think having that really grounds you and allows you to be vulnerable, to give love, to share and spread positivity and different perspectives. You learn from one another. But anyway, RIT was insane. I was able to study abroad 2 different occasions, and that right there opened up a whole nother portal for me. I actually went to study abroad in Croatia for like 5-6 months, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna learn Croatian, even though I did learn 50 words. Dobar dan. That means good morning. I was so excited for myself, and I was like, okay, I gotta learn another language. And while I was in Croatia, I got to travel to some different places during studying there, and it opened up my eyes, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna come back over here. I don't know how, but where there's a will, there's a way. I'm gonna come back over here after I graduate, and I'm gonna work in Europe. And until then, I'm gonna find ways to come back over here, gain work experience, get exposure to languages, get exposure to different cultures. I want to know international people and their backgrounds, their stories. Like, I want to share, I want to connect. And so me and my best friend Brooke, we actually joined Workaway, and Workaway is a really cool program where you can go, I think, anywhere in the world really, and you can work and stay with these people. Like, if they're offering something, maybe it's a company, it could be a hostel, it could be, we did English camps, for example, in the summertime. And you'll find host families through these programs. You probably won't get paid, and if you do, it's not very much, but you are exchanging, your teaching services or your working services, time, whatever, in order to have a place to stay, and sometimes they give you food as well. So we went to Italy for 2 different summers, and we traveled around Spain, we traveled around Germany, we stayed with some different international friends that we had. Being that RIT had a lot of international students, which I'm so thankful for. And we did Workaway, and we did summer camps, and we stayed with host families, and I thought, Italy is my place. Like, there is just something deep inside of me, and it's always been this way, where I'm like, I gotta go to Italy. Like, something is pulling me to Italy. It was my calling, it was my passion, it was my purpose to get there and learn the language, meet the people, know the culture. The language to me is like music in my ears. There's just something about it that when I hear it, even if someone is saying, you are an ignorant bastard, I hear it and I'm like, a smile's on my face. I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. That is so beautiful. And I don't know how this happened. It was me focusing my energy on that vision that I had for myself and just saying, do whatever it takes. I'm gonna find a way. and I applied for a program that my school was not yet a participant of. I got the study abroad office to nominate me, sign me off, approve me. Thank you so much for this. This like study abroad office changed my life at RIT. Honest to God, I could shout all of them out right now by name. I love them all. And I remember my Italian professor, Elisabetta, she was gung ho on me because when I started taking Italian, my junior year of college, I was 19. I thought, oh my God, I'm old. I'm gonna start taking a language and I'm old. Everyone in my class was like already speaking Spanish and French. So I'm in beginner one, day one, and they're already like, ooh, and I'm thinking, is this beginner one? There's no way. And I'm like checking my planner. I'm like, what class am I in? Where am I supposed to be? I think I'm in the wrong spot. And I remember Elisabetta was like, tranquila, like calm down, don't worry, like we're gonna do this together. And she'd pick on me and I'd be like, I'm not ready to respond. And we worked together and I did tutoring and I did the Italian club with her and we got really close and she nominated me for a program and the study abroad office made it happen with her help. And I'll never, ever, ever be able to thank them from the bottom of my heart enough because I got a phone call my senior year. Oh, it makes me tear up because I remember I was at an award ceremony for a global union giving out awards to the international students on campus and all of their participation and all the things that they had planned over the year. And I got a phone call and they were like, Lacey, check your email. And I checked my email and I had gotten the scholarship to go to Italy. And I remember in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to live in Italy. And when I think about that, it gives me goosebumps because I focused my energy on it so much. I wanted it so bad and I made it happen. And so I stayed that summer to work and study abroad. I was like the mother to a huge group of Beijing students, and that was absolutely amazing. We had so much fun. We went to baseball games, we went to the park, we did activities on campus. I set up their rooms for them. I gave them all little tigers because tigers were our mascots. We had so much fun. I love study abroad. I love it. I think one day I'm going to be doing something more with study abroad because it's just something in me that is so passionate, and I think everyone should get a chance to go study abroad or travel abroad, do even a small exposure abroad, because the way that it can open up your eyes and change your perspective and the connections you make, the people their stories that you hear, absolutely life altering, I swear to God. So anyway, long story short, I go to Italy. I graduate from RIT. I work for the summer. I finish in August. I go home for my birthday with my family. I think I just turned 21. I pack my suitcase that very next week and September comes, boom, I move to Italy. I moved to Italy and I know I'm going to be there for at least a year. And I was so scared. Oh my gosh, I was so scared. I'm like, oh, I've taken a year of Italian. I've taken a year of Italian, so I understand a lot. Speaking is difficult. If you have learned languages, maybe you can understand and you resonate with this, but you can always hear and understand before you speak. At least that's how it has been for me with my languages. Speaking has always been something that I've had to push and make myself do, and I gotta get myself in uncomfortable situations to really get my voice to function and work with me here. Okay, you know what they're saying, you know how to respond, let's put it into words. And so I moved to Italy. Absolutely a beautiful experience. I got to stay in my own apartment in the small town called Crema, which was by Milano, in the north of Italy. And so I worked at a school, in a high school, and I remember walking in my first day and thinking, I don't know what the heck I've gotten myself into. I've never taught high schoolers before. Like I said before, I've come over here for summers and I've taught summer camps, but high schoolers, how old are these guys? Are they going to be my age? And I'm not even kidding you. Dead ass, I walk into the school and everyone and their mother is taller than me. And they're probably 19, 20. And I'm 21. I'm 21 and I'm your professor. They'd be like, Professoressa. And I'm like, oh, God. And the first class I ever taught to my high schoolers, I walk in, I'm like, okay, I got this. Even if I don't got this, I always tell myself I got this because words in your head, that shit's powerful. I got this. I walk in, I introduce myself, we play a game, I talk about what the things that I would like to teach for the year to come. I play another game at the end. We do kind of a little what's your name? doing? Tell me about you. And then I look at the clock and I'm like, what you mean I got 30 minutes left? So I think I puttered around for another 5-10 minutes, and I look at the teacher and I'm like, grazie mille, thank you so much. And then I just like grab my books and walk out the door. 20 minutes left of class, and I think that teacher was like, what is she doing? What is she doing? And I remember thinking, I am not cut out for this. But you know what? It's part of the journey. I go back the second day, the third day, the third week, the fifth month, and I connected with those students. We made LinkedIns. We did projects. I tried to get them to think about real life and what they want to do and what brings them joy and what kind of things serve them as people. So I spent my year in Italy. I lived by myself, and below me is a family, and the family was absolutely a vital part of my time in Italy because their daughter, I got really close with their daughter. I pushed myself to speak with their son, which was a really good challenge for me at the time. And the husband and the wife, they saved me so many different occasions from the train station when I didn't know what the hell I was doing and I thought I was on the train to come home and I was not at all. And Donatella, she was a teacher at my school, so like we got to work together, we went to school together every day, we biked to school, and they gave me a bicycle, and that like really shaped the way that I am with bicycles. That's why I got a nice little bicycle tattoo right here on my ankle. Biker for life, biker babes. Working in Italy was so influential and brought me so much joy, and I stayed for the summer after as well, and I led a program with Putney Travel, and I got students from America to come to Italy, stay with host families in Italy, and kind of get a little taste of Italian culture. So we did different types of food tastings, we went to see different things in my little town, and they went all around Italy as well to other places, and they were in the north of Europe as well. So the program was amazing because I got to showcase my little town, which to me, I felt so prideful, and I'd only been there for a year. So after Italy, I remember I stayed in that country until my very last day, the very last day that I could stay in Italy, and I said, okay, I don't want any problems because I want to be able to come back here whenever I want. I love this place with my entire heart. So I left with tears, and I will tell you something, full disclosure, I bent over on the ground because you know how I love the floor, and I was going to kiss the floor, like pretend to kiss the floor of the airplane, not the airplane, of the actual ground before getting on the airplane and leaving. And when I did, my dumb ass forgot I had a backpack on, and my backpack came over my head, hit me in the head so hard that my face went all the way down to the ground, and I had a bloody nose. So that was really, you know, something that I'll never forget, leaving Italy with a bloody nose because I just had so much love for it. I didn't want to leave it, and I tried kissing the floor. But anyway, I came back to the States, and I got together with my best friend, and we moved to the South together. We like worked our asses off, studied a bunch, and we're kind of just like, what's next? We're like envisioning the next thing. And my next thing was getting my master's, and hers was going to medical school. And so we worked our butts off, and we had so much fun. We slept on an air mattress together. Just crazy things that you do with your best friends that, like, looking back, you're like, damn, I am so glad we did that. We talk about it all the time, that those situations where you're like, sleeping on an air mattress for how many months? And I'm like, I would never trade that for the world. Like, I would kill to sleep on an air mattress with my best friend right now at 28 years old. But after I lived in South Carolina for a little while, I started applying to different programs for my master's, and I got accepted into Madrid, well, a place close to Madrid in Spain, and I ended up getting a full scholarship and a work practicum that came with it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have to go. This is my calling. This is my way back to Europe. So I ended up going back to Europe, and I was located in Madrid, and I worked at a daycare, which was not what I wanted, and that really pushed my boundaries, my limits with babies. I got real comfortable real fast around babies, whereas before I was not. And I got to study for half of the year in English and then half the year in Spanish. But let me tell you something. I went to Spain with zero Espanol. Like, when I say zero, I mean, I could say hola, I could say donde está el baño, where's the bathroom, and that's it. That's literally it. I show up, no apartment, no idea what the hell I'm doing, and I'm speaking Italian with everyone in the street, with the potential landlords and roommates, and they're like trying to interview me, and I'm like, ciao, me chiamo Lacey, and they're like, what? What is she Italian or is she American? We don't know where the hell she's from. And I ended up finding an apartment with these really sweet girls. They were really quiet, really clean. I was super happy with them. The apartment was adorable. My landlord was nice. His daughter was a teacher as well, or she was in education, so that was really helpful. And I was in a good spot in Madrid, just below the center. And I was studying in Alcalá at the Universidad de Alcalá, and I was studying international education. So I did half of a year in this, and it was in English. And the whole time I'm listening to audiobooks. Like, I'm an audiobook connoisseur through and through and through, and podcasts too, which is why I'm so excited to be here, to be connecting with you guys on a platform like this, because this is where I get my dose of inspiration and my different techniques and knowledge and things that I like to learn about is through audiobooks and through podcasts. And so I taught myself Spanish to the best of my ability because I knew halfway through this program, this master's, which is a year duration, I'm gonna have to switch and be doing it in Spanish. And holy shit, Lacey, you are not ready for this. You gotta get on the horse and ride it. So I was studying Spanish like a crazy woman. And then we went to Malaga, a group of friends and I that I made in Madrid. Had a great time in Malaga, got home, and I was on my deathbed. I thought, I'm gonna die in this bunk bed in my house. It was a cute bunk bed, by the way, with like the bathroom underneath of it and like a cute little vanity and stuff. It was nice. I'm gonna die in my bunk bed if I don't get some help. And I remember, I'm not a freaking Uberer. I never Uber anywhere because I'm like, I got 2 feet, I'm gonna walk there. Or bicycle. I would bicycle everywhere in Madrid like a loca. And I Ubered myself to the hospital, to the emergency room, and they were like, you have a serious upper respiratory infection. And I was like, okay? What? And so they kept me in the hospital the whole entire day. I'm not good with needles, not good with blood, but they did their thing, and I was still there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it. We're gonna be okay. And, try not to worry my family. Like, they're on the other side of the world, and here I am in Madrid alone, not really speaking the language, in an emergency room. Anyway, I get released. I go home, and I don't have anything at home that I can eat. I don't have anything that I can keep down. And I remember I got myself, for the first time ever, Glovo, which is kind of like Uber Eats if you don't know what that is. And I think I got myself ramen, and I was like, oh my god, ramen's delicious. There's my new found fascination with ramen. And I remember laying in my bed and taking that whole entire week to recover. I missed a whole week of work. And the day that I was going to go back to work, we got an email and a phone call that school was canceled because we had school on Fridays for the master's program. And our practicum was canceled too for the next 2 weeks because there's a sickness going around, an upper respiratory infection. And I said, did I just have that? Is that what I just had? Is that what I just had? Did I just survive a plague? Which maybe I did. And so we were like, what, 2 weeks? What are we gonna do in 2 weeks? We don't have to work, we don't have to study, we're just out here straight chilling. Like, I didn't even start my thesis at that point yet. So 2 of my friends that I had made in Madrid, like, they love the beach like I do, and I said, guys, you guys wanna go somewhere? Like, let's just pack a suitcase for the weekend, let's go to the beach, let's go somewhere. So we looked at Valencia, and we looked at Alicante, because the weekend before, when I was on my deathbed, there was a Zumba convention in Alicante, and it looked beautiful. I said, oh, I can't believe I'm missing this. Because at that point I was teaching Zumba. And so we decided to look up tickets, and Alicante was cheaper, and we said, okay, as the frugal queens we are, we're going to Alicante. So we packed a suitcase. There wasn't a lot of people out. It was kind of weird in Madrid. We were like, we don't know what's going on. Let's go to the beach. Let's go get away, and let's go get away. And we go on the train. We arrive in Alicante, go to the Airbnb that we had found in the center, log right onto our computers because we have 6 hours of master's program online, do our thing, close our computers, grab our shoes, and head to a pizza restaurant close to our apartment here. And we were just like, damn, it's quiet out here. Like, not really a lot of people in the streets. Like, this is kind of like desolate. So we eat our pizza. It's delicious, by the way. And this place is still here in Alicante today, and it's one of my favorites. I'm gonna probably link it and tell you guys about it. I'm a pizza connoisseur as well. I love pizza, and I'm also a pizza brat. After living in Italy, I can't just have pizza. Like, if you tell me we're gonna go for pizza, I'm like, let me do my research. Are they Italian? Where are they from? What's the dough made of? Anyway, we go explore in the marina. We go in the center, and there's literally not a soul. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Where's everybody? Is this just like a ghost beach town? Because that's kind of what it seemed like. And then people were yelling things out their window at us, and we're like, I don't know what they're saying. They were saying something like, quédate en casa. And we're like, what? What does that mean? That means stay home, by the way, for those of you that don't know what that means. It means stay home. And we're like, that? I don't know what that means. That's weird. So we meet these Swedish guys and we spend the whole night with them. Come to find out, there's a pandemic happening and everything is closing down. All the regions are shutting down in Spain in the next 24 hours. And we're like, what are we going to do? So without panicking, we said, well, we're going to stay here. We contact Kate, our landlord, and we say, listen, Kate, I know we said 3 days, but how about we do a week? Is that okay? And she's like, girls, yes, don't travel. She was amazing, such a sweet lady. She really took care of us. We ended up staying for a week, which turned into 2 weeks, which turned into 2 months, which turned into 2 years. And during the pandemic, we rented a car from Alicante, drove, and we should not have done that, but we did what we did, and we did what we did. Drove to Madrid, grabbed all of our things, packed our suitcases from there, packed the car, came back, and we never looked back. We actually moved to Alicante during the pandemic. We relocated and everything, and I've never left since. You know, I've gone home, back and forth, travel, whatever, see my boyfriend, but never intended on a 3-day weekend vacation turning into 3.5 years that I've been here, almost 4 this upcoming spring. And so that is something that was so influential and something that I did not expect. I just was putting my energy out there, and then this just came to me. So coming here, I finished my thesis, did some really cool research on why study abroad is so essential, and the people that do it versus the people that don't do it, perspectives, mindsets, attitude, positivity, high frequency, all of that good stuff. And the second year of living here, I was teaching at an academy, I was teaching English, I was training, I've been teaching Zumba since, oh my gosh, I started in Italy, shadowing instructor, got my license in the States, taught in South Carolina, started teaching in Madrid, started teaching here at Alicante, and I've been teaching ever since. So it's been at least 6 years, 5-6 years. And when I was little, me and my mom used to do Zumba every single week. We'd throw in the DVDs, the cassette tapes, for those of you that don't know what that is. This big chunky thing, you gotta put it in there, and then it starts playing. It's got the little tape roll things. Anyways, we would dance in the kitchen and living room. We would clean the house, doing Zumba all over the place. So this has been part of my life for forever. And then lo and behold, boom, I become a Zumba instructor. And wherever I go, I'm playing in classes, I'm collaborating with people. I love bringing people together for events, because that's why I studied events. But if I can bring them together to move and to have fun and make it a good time, that's even better. So I'm out here teaching Zumba on the beach. We're in a lockdown state where you cannot be outside with a group of 2 or more. You have to be just 2 people. You have to be masked on. The rules in Spain were legit. You might think that you were on lockdown, and I'm talking to everyone in the United States. You might think that you were on a lockdown, but we were locked down here. I could not leave my house, my apartment for 52 days. Let me rewind that. 52 days. We left once a week to go to the grocery store, and only one of us was supposed to go, but I'm going to say it right now. All 3 of us went to the grocery store because we wanted to get out and see the sunshine and get some fresh air. And then I think it was 2nd or 3rd week, we discovered the roof. We had access to the roof. Let me tell you what, this was vital. This changed the game, but 100%. I was on that roof, I think 24/7. I might as well take my pillow up there and slept up there, because I wrote my thesis up there, I tanned up there, I read up there, I worked out up there, and every day during the pandemic, Spain at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., everyone would come outside, or come out their windows and clap. We would clap for everyone working in the hospitals, everyone dealing with the COVID patients, and everyone in healthcare. And it was actually really awesome and a really good way to feel like we weren't in this alone. We were doing this together, we were gonna go through it together, and it gave you an excuse to contact and be in communication in some form or another with your neighbors, which was really fulfilling. And I used it as a way to get people moving, because I taught Zumba and kickboxing, mostly Zumba, on my roof every single night after 7 o'clock. I would turn my speaker up as loud as I could get it to go, and I'd be like, vamos, let's go, neighbors. And I'd get kids on their roofs dance with me, the neighbors across the street. We would have a freaking party. We made it the best time that we could possibly make it, and I think that's kind of the reoccurring theme of my life. There's so many things you cannot control, but if you can just make it a good time and make it enjoyable, then you're gonna get through whatever's going on that much quicker. And we did just that during the pandemic. And so when we were allowed to go out of the house, we could first do a little lap around your block, nothing more. Then you could go for like a mile equivalent. Like you could go walking around with 2 people, then 3 people, then 4 people, and then eventually it was groups of 10. And I was like, that's it. I'm starting Zumba. Like I am sick and tired of being like, okay, let's do like a little group here of Zumba, a little group there of Zumba. I'm like, no, let's just dance. Like this is good for our health. We're outside, fresh air. So I was teaching some Zumba classes, and it's funny because there was a football team training on the beach too because their gyms had been closed down, their arenas had been closed down once again. We had like 2 different lockdowns here on in that regard, and there was this guy, and I remember being like, what is this guy doing? Like he doesn't talk to us like when we come here and we're training and whatever, and then lo and behold 3 weeks later he pops into a Zumba class, sticks it out the whole entire time, dances with us girls, and like I give him a fist bump, high five, handshake. I'm like, you are part of the Zumba family. And he's like, all right. And we start training together, we work out together, we dance together, and here we are 2.5 years later, and we're dating, and he's a professional football player, so he's in Italy at the moment, which is where I want to go so bad, but that's another whole podcast for another whole day. And it's just so funny how things happen when you don't expect them to happen. And all of these things I think have come into my life because of the energy that I put out there, especially when I've been embracing different feelings and emotions and being vulnerable, being open, coming from a place of love, always coming from a place of love. For example, teaching Zumba during the pandemic, not a single person was charged. I didn't want to make a dime off of that. I just wanted to move people and for people to have some form of exercise that brought them joy, that brought a smile to their face, because it wasn't easy for everyone and it wasn't fun for everyone either. A lot of people had to go through really hard things. And so my way of giving back, which if you can't tell, my love language is acts of service and also gifts. That's how I gave back. I wanted to give people and impact them in a positive way. And so here I am in Spain as a teacher for the last 2 years, which I just quit my teaching job, and I'm going full mode into my own creation, which is so exciting, so scary at the same time, but it's the kind of nerves that are, they're excited nerves, and they're like anticipation for like what I'm about to create, what's to come. And so being able to be here with you all and connect with you is such a privilege and it's such a joy. And I want to say, if you listen to this entire podcast, which this is probably going to be the longest one because I want things to be semi-short, semi-sweet, to the point, clear, concise. I want to take this time to get to know you and you get to know me. So please comment on this. I want you to send me messages on this. Like I am out here hopping around from countries and like making this life and my experience as customizable and flexible and authentic that I can make it. And it's all about connecting with you, because that's part of my journey is the connection with you, the gratitude that we can share together, and the lives that we can impact by being love. Like focus on being love. That's what I want to go into. And so it's really interesting the journey that this has been, my last 10-year journey, and where I found myself and where I see myself and where I'm going. And I'm really excited to get to be here and share that all with you. And so I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and for tuning in and listening. And it's been such a joy to share this with you. And it's been enlightening and it's been powerful to like have made an episode, and I'm not going to delete it. I'm not going to delete it. And I know in my heart that it's going to go out. It's going to be published. This is the first time that I'm doing the recorded and the filmed version, and it's something that's totally outside my comfort zone. Even though I teach classes, I film my classes, I offer dance, kickboxing, stretching on video, live, pre-recorded, whatever you name it, but just showing up and being myself and speaking is a totally different ball game. And so thank you, honestly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, for being here, for listening, for tuning in, and I'm so excited to get to share this journey with you. And I reference a lot of the time journey because it is part of the journey. All of this is part of the journey. Like, you might be going through something that's really hard right now, and a lot of us are, but you just have to remember, and I have to remember for myself too, that everything is temporary. It's part of the journey. It's going to shape us and make us into the people that we want to let it make us into. And we have control over what we think and how we act, our reactions. There's a lot of things that we don't have control over, but it's really empowering to step into the energy that you want to be and know that you can make this experience however you want to make it. It's up to you. It's up to me. We have that power. It's not about waiting for the outside world, external factors to say like yes or no, this or that. The way that we show up, the way that we take care of ourselves, the way that we pour love outward to others is how we're going to be. And if we focus on the way of being, which is what I want to get into next on the next episode, the way of being, then we're going to be able to live such fulfilled lives. And our energy is something that we're going to have with us for our entire lives. It doesn't matter the car that we drive. It doesn't matter the clothes that we wear. We don't take those things with us. And so if you can just focus your energy on the person that you want to be, the person that you want to become, you'll be able to find love in every single aspect of your life. And so that's where I'm at right now, is on this journey, I've been able to really connect with so many people in such a meaningful way, find love no matter where I go, and spread joy and spread fun. And there's no more holding myself back, which is why I'm publishing this podcast. And there's no more hesitation and thinking this is not good enough, or it's not ready, it's not perfect. Perfection doesn't exist. And it's so calming to know that it doesn't exist, and that we all get to just be who we are as we are and choose how we evolve, because this experience is absolutely customizable. It's ours. And so, thank you all for tuning in. I'm not going to ramble on anymore, but it really was so special to share this first episode with you. I'm so excited for what's to come. This is all part of the journey. I hope that you guys keep moving with intention. We're going to talk about intention. We're going to do some intention setting. I've got so much in store for you. I'm so freaking excited. And keep moving with intention. I can't wait to see you guys soon. Let's make it fun. Let's make it authentic. Mwah.